Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Sharat Sharma this side, and today we will be discussing about the working of the institutions. What the institutions are. So briefly we shall be dealing with this. What decisions are taken, who takes the decisions, who implements the decisions. In this study we will be going through the various decisions that are taken by the government. Now, who takes the decisions? As we see from the memorandums that are issued by the government, the office memorandums, as they are better known as, they are issued by the secretary of the concerned department or the joint secretary, who are normally the Indian civil servants. But are they the ones who are taking the decisions? Is it possible for a bureaucrat to issue certain decisions all by himself? Because we see the signatures of that particular gentleman over there. Is it really so? No, it is not, because they are merely taking the decisions from their higher ups. Now, who are the higher ups? They are our political executives, they are the ministers or the prime ministers. They are taking the decision and they ask these people to implement the same. The orders are issued by the permanent executive, the bureaucrats, right? So the council of ministers, which is headed by the prime minister, takes the actual decision. They are the decision making process, they are the decision makers. They convey the decisions to the executive, the permanent executive, and they in turn issue the orders for the same. They are merely obeying what has been ordered to them. So for every office memorandum or the government decisions or the government orders, we see the signatures of some bureaucrat, but they are just obeying the orders. They are not, and they are no one to take a decisions. The decisions are taken by the political executive. This is one thing which is should be very clear. The signing authority is someone else. The decision is taken by this someone else. Now, who gives the authority to the political executive to take the decisions? We people, the Indian people, give the authority to the political executive to take decisions and to do things to run the country. We elect people to the parliament. We have a parliament in our country. We have a parliamentary form of government, democracy. So the parliament takes the highest decision making authority in this country. So they take the highest decisions. Every 5 years we elect our representatives to the lower house of parliament, which takes the final decision. Now over here one can ask, it's a very simple question, that what is a parliament like? Parliament, as we all know, is a place where our elected representatives go and meet. And once they are there, they take the decisions best suited in the interest of the people. हमारी ही परफॉर्मेंस वहाँ पर वो लोग करते हैं, हम लोगों के काम वो वहाँ जाकर के करते हैं, जनता से जुड़े हुए कामों को लेते हैं, देश के प्रोग्रेस के लिए जो काम लेने हैं वो उनको करने होते हैं. So they take the decisions best in the interest of the country and in the interest of the people. As you all know that our parliament is bifurcated into two parts. We have two organs. One is the lower house, which is known as the Lok Sabha, and one is the upper house, which is known as the Rajya Sabha. The lower house is the house of the representatives, where people are elected directly by the people themselves. The representative is elected through the masses. And we have 543 elected members in the Lok Sabha and 2 nominated, so thereby making a total of 545 MPs in the Lok Sabha. And the upper house, which is the Council of States, is also called the Rajya Sabha, and they have 250 maximum permissible number of seats, out of which 245 are currently filled. And out of these 245, 12 are nominated by the president and the rest are elected from various states. Now, in terms of the powers, the Lok Sabha is more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. Why it is so? Because the entire government is based on Lok Sabha. The party who has a majority in the Lok Sabha rules the country. So the answerability for the Council of Ministers of the Cabinet is towards the Lok Sabha, not to the Rajya Sabha. Secondly, all the money matters, the budget and the financial bills, that is the money bills, they are presented before the Lok Sabha and they are passed by the Lok Sabha only and they are then implemented. The Rajya Sabha does not have a role over here. They are just merely glancing through the bills and if possible they can suggest some changes, but it is again at the will of the Lok Sabha to either to accept it or not to accept it. So coming back to the main point that Lok Sabha is more powerful. Third point over here is we have to keep in mind that the government is responsible to the Lok Sabha. It is at the Lok Sabha level that no confidence motion or the confidence motions can be brought in. The Rajya Sabha does not have any such things. A government which is in power, which is mandatorily it has to be in majority in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha majority, if it is there, it's okay. If it is not there, then also it's okay. But majority, clear-cut majority has to be there in the Lok Sabha. Now, we come to the executive as we were talking just now, how the decisions are made. As we all know that we have two types of executives. One is the political executive, which is the non-permanent executive. They are the ministers, the MPs and all. And at the same time, we have the permanent executive. They are the bureaucrats who are normally from the civil services, the IAS, the IPS and all. In the political executive, we have the Prime Minister who heads the political executive. He is the head of the government. He takes the major decisions along with this Council of Ministers that is known as the Cabinet. The Cabinet presides over all the decisions. All the major policy decisions are taken by the Prime Minister along with his Cabinet. And at the same time, Indian Parliament, the Constitution clearly says that we have a collective responsibility for the Council of Ministers. Collective responsibility means that whatever decision is taken in the Cabinet, if any one particular minister disagrees with that particular decision, but he cannot go against the decision. He has to abide by the majority opinion of the cabinets which have been taken. So over here, the collective responsibility means that they have to clearly abide by that. And we have the Prime Minister who is the most powerful in this entire cabinet, because since he is the head, he has the power to transfer the ministers, he has the power to appoint a minister, he has the power to dismiss a minister, and he plays the role of intercommunicating and the linking in between various departments and the ministries. And he takes a final decision in case of a dispute between the 2 or 3 ministries. If there is some proposal which has to be carried forward by 2 ministries or 3 ministries or departments concerned and there is a deadlock, in this particular case the Prime Minister decides what to do. Because the will of the Prime Minister, then he takes a suitable decision, and whatever his decisions are there, they are the final. And in this particular thing, once we are discussing about the Parliament, we also tell that our Parliament consists of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha and the President. Now who is the President? The President, as we all know, he is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and he is the head of the state. The eligibility for getting elected to the President is he should be a person of Indian origin and Indian national. And at the same time, he should be above the age of 35. and he is appointed by an indirect election, and he is elected through the electoral college system, where the MPs and the MLAs vote to him. They are the electorate who gets the president to elect, and he has enormous power. He has the powers to declare emergency in the country, emergency in terms of national emergency, state emergency, or the financial emergency. Article 352 deals with national emergency, Article 356 deals with the state emergency, and Article 360 deals with the financial emergency. He has the powers, and since he is the supreme commander of the armed forces, so again he is in full command. But he is at the point in time when the government is in full majority, he is there in his capacity as advisory. He is just acting on the advice of the prime minister. His emergency powers come into picture only when the government has either lost in the house, the lower house, or it is a caretaker government. We have seen in the past the presidents have played critical role and emergency powers have been implemented. Lastly, we come to the judiciary. So in India, as we all know, that Indian judiciary system is integrated. Integrated judiciary means what? Integrated judiciary means that the entire judicial system is integrated one by one. We have the higher up level judicials also, judiciary, which take, once we are dissatisfied with the decision, we have the right to approach the higher court and get a relief from there, and the lower court's decision gets washed away if in case we get a favorable decision. The highest custodian of the fundamental rights is the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in India and which controls the judicial process over here. Once appointed, the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, they cannot be removed easily except under special circumstances where they have to be impeached by the Parliament. At the same time, the Supreme Court decides and is the decisions also of the government and also of the legislatives are taken into it. So we can very safely say that Indian democracy, as we all say with pride, that it is the institutions which play a very, very vital role in our democracy, and they are called the pillars of our democracy. So if you like this video, then please, thank you very much.